Good morning. This is lesson 1.7, so be sure to write that down in your math notebook. We're going to be adding fractions with unlike denominators. So be sure to copy down the I can statement. You'll see it there in green. Unlike obviously means different. Start the video back up once you have your I can statement written. Now, look at the fractions that we have here. 1/2 plus 1/3. I can't add those together because you see the denominators are different. So one of the things that we can do is simply create a common denominator. That means a denominator that's the same. So one of the things we could do is simply multiply the two denominators. We've talked about this before. So 2 times 3 is 6, so I could use 6 for a common denominator. So 1/2, if I multiply 2 times 3, I get 6. 1 times 3, I get 1. So 1/2 is the same as 3/6. 1/3, when I change it to sixths, becomes 2/6 because 3 times 2 is what gives me 6. 1 times 2 is 2. So now I can easily add those up. 3 plus 2 is 5, and I keep my 6 on the bottom for an answer of 5/6. So let's look at what this might, how we could model it with a fraction bar. So our problem is Luke mixed a 1/3 cup of orange juice with a 1/4 cup of pineapple juice. What total amount of juice does he have? So again, we have two fractions and the denominators are different. So we want to make them the same. So let's look at this with fraction bars. Top bar has thirds, bottom one has fourths. So the top one, there's 1/3. Bottom one, there's 1/4. Now, as you can see, they're different sizes. So even if I could slide this one up here, it would be very unclear as to what size pieces we're talking about. That's why we need a common denominator. So 3 and 4 both go into 12. In fact, 3 times 4 is 12. So when we take our thirds, and if we want to divide this fraction bar into twelfths, we're going to have 4 in each of these. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you can see that 1/3 is the same as 4/12. So down here, my fourths, I can fit 3/12 in each of those fourths. So there's 3. 3 more is 6. Here's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So when you look at a third plus a fourth, altogether we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 twelfths. So a third is 4/12, a fourth is 3/12. So when we add 4/12 plus 3/12, we get 7/12. So that would be the total of 1/3 and 1/4. Now, this is an actual page from our math series, and it's showing us basically the same thing. If we had a 1/2 plus a 1/3, this is the same problem we did earlier. You can see that a 1/2, if we change that into sixths, is the same as 3/6. And how do we get that? Well, we'd have to multiply the top and the bottom by the same number. To get from 2 to 6, we have to multiply by 3. And whatever we do to one, we have to do to the other. So 3 is our multiplier. Now 1/3, if we're going to change that to sixths, 3 times what gives me 6? Well, 2. So if I multiply the bottom by 2, I have to multiply the top by 2. So 1/3 is the same as 2/6. And that's what you can see here. So our common denominator is 6. And our new fractions are going to be 3/6 plus 2/6. They're still equal to each other. And when we add them up, you can see that's when we get the 5/6. So down here, we have 1/4 and 2/3. The 1/4 and the 2/3 can be changed to a denominator of 12. So how do we get from 4 to 12? Well, we can multiply by 3. So we do that to the top and the bottom. And then 3 times what gives us 12? Well, that would be 4. We do that to the top and bottom. So 1/4 now becomes 3/12, as you can see right here. And 2/3, here's 1/3, 2/3. If we turn that into 12ths, you can see that altogether we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 12ths. So our common denominator is 12. Our new fraction, well, I don't want that to appear right now. We've got to get rid of that. So 1/4 is now 3 12ths. 2/3 is now 8 12ths. 3 plus 8 would be 11 12ths. Now, finding common denominators, one of the things, this is important, that you want to always do first is see if maybe you can only change one of the fractions. It'd be nice if you could leave the fractions totally alone, and if that doesn't work, see if you can leave one of them alone. So for example, can tenths be turned to fifths? Well, I could divide by 2, but that doesn't work up here with the 7. So let me think of it the other way. Can fifths be turned into tenths? Yeah, I could times that by 2. So I'm going to change my 1/5 into tenths by multiplying the top and the bottom by 2. So now I can keep my 7 tenths. My 1/5 is now 2 tenths. And now I can easily add them up because my denominator is the same. So 7 tenths plus 2 tenths is 9 tenths. Let's try another one. Can 8 be turned into fifths? No. Can fifths be turned into eighths? No. So one of the easiest things I could do then is simply say, okay, 8 times 5 is 40. So I could use 40ths for my denominator. So 8 times 5 is 40, 3 times 5 is 15. So now 3/8 is the same as 15 40ths. So I'm going to do the same with 2 fifths. 5 times 8 is what gives me the 40. So I have to multiply the top and the bottom by the same number again. So that would be 16 40ths. So now my problem is 15 40ths plus 16 40ths. And I get a total of 31 40ths. One more. Can 4 be turned into eighths? Yes, I can multiply by 2. 4 times 2 is 8. So I can leave the second fraction alone and only change the first one. So multiplying top and bottom by 2, I get 2/8. I'm going to leave 5/8 alone. And now when I add them up, I get 7/8. All right, so here's your opportunity to put this into practice. You've got 3 problems here. I really want you to copy the entire problem and show your work. Now, as I've told you before, it's easier for me to stack them on top of each other. So if that's also helpful for you, go ahead and do it that way. You can rewind and go back and look at the video if you need help. But I'd like you to make sure you come to the table today with these 3 problems these 3 problems done and showing how exactly you did it. How did you get your common denominators? See you soon.